All right, guys, it is about time that we get rid of this friggin' thing. I waited so long for this. I ordered this back in June, and they were in their R&D lab making this, and officially we have the full Yoshimura exhaust for the Honda Navi. So I'm gonna pump this video out as fast as I can because I wanna hear this just as much as you do. So let's get into it. So just to let everyone know, I already opened this just to make sure they shipped everything correctly. So right out of the box, there's gonna be a big piece of tape over this cardboard. Go ahead and cut that with the knife. You don't have to worry about it because the muffler is actually in the bottom. So absolutely gorgeous quality. Looks exactly kind of like the CRF, what are the 110 pipes and stuff like that. The Ruckus exhaust kind of looks like this too, except it's up like that. Absolutely gorgeous. This is all real carbon fiber, titanium riveted in with their classic logo and everything like that. Give you the mid pipe as well as the head pipe. It's actually all one thing. So I will not be unpacking this for you guys. We'll do it when I'm installing it because as soon as you start touching this with your fingerprints and the oils in your hands, you're gonna mess it up. So I'm not touching it with my bare hands. They give you, their merch stuff, stickers. If they didn't send stickers, I would be pissed. Don't worry. And then they give you the works finish and everything like that. So it starts off as just kind of like a crystallized titanium, and then it goes kind of like a matte brown, nut brown kind of looking thing. And that will be a cure process for your head pipe so it doesn't rust. And then they give you a spring puller tool, which is kind of cool actually. And then they give you all of the rivets for this small little bracket, this little L thing. I think this is gonna come off the exhaust so you can have your fender, if you guys choose to keep your stock fender. And then they give you this sweet, I like this, how they did this, the small bore life thing. Looks absolutely unbelievable. I'm gonna very quickly take the stock exhaust off because I literally can't wait any longer, so. So, phone off the stand for this one. So, it's technically all, you guys know it, you've seen it. There's a thing there, there's a thing there, and then there's one down here as well. And then the header wraps all the way around up into there. Now, originally I thought that you might have to take off this bottom piece of plastic, but if you look underneath here, there's actually a little cutout, this thing right here. And you can actually see inside to get to those two bolts right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick what I think is a 10 or 11 millimeter in there. I'll let you guys know, but yeah, we'll get that underway. Can't really do much about you guys being able to see in there, but I have probably a 5.5 inch long extension on a 3/8 ratchet and a long 10 millimeter socket. That's if you guys actually have 10 millimeter sockets, because I struggled to find mine. So as far as angle goes, yeah, you're looking at a significant increase of where this muffler is going to be. It's almost going to be a 1/2 foot above where, it's going to be up there now, which is going to be so cool. It's going to look so much better. But this is a shout out to everybody who has been in the Navi community for a little bit. Look at that bend right there. You see that bend? We all know exactly why this cross member's on this bend, and look at it TIG welded like that. That is because of the excessive rattle that these little bikes actually produce. Vance and Hines found out the very, very hard way with their R&D department, released a whole bunch of their exhausts, and I'm not talking crap about Vance and Hines, I actually think they're an excellent company, but they didn't take into account the vibration, and these tubes were literally shearing off completely through the metal, right by the header, some down here, some were actually breaking the stud plate, and Yoshimura wasted literally no time making sure, look at it, 4 TIG welds right here, and a complete cross member brace on both sides. Literally genius. These guys. So enough talking, enough blabbering. We're gonna go ahead and put this on the bike. Difficult for you guys to see what I'm doing down here, but you're gonna go ahead and take your 10mm on the extension, and you're gonna go ahead and take the head pipe and feed it down underneath from the outside. And then you're gonna reach around with your head below it, and you're gonna go ahead and find your exhaust studs and just put them on like that. And then very, very carefully, like very carefully, put one of the nuts in the 10mm socket, flip it upside down, and put it on the stud itself. Now you're not gonna snug, well, you can snug them down actually, but you do not want to torque these down ridiculous, because if the other part of the exhaust doesn't align up, you're gonna be screwed and you're gonna have no leeway or room to actually physically move the muffler the way that you need to in order to get it in position. You can go ahead and tighten, snug, torque everything down afterwards. Head pipe is on. All right, so we're gonna start off with this bracket. This bendable, flexible rubber grommet has to go in this hole. I don't know necessarily how I'm gonna be able to do this, but we're gonna try. All right, yeah, flathead screwdriver will get it done. That grommet is now in. So you're gonna go ahead and take these two. They come with their own little dowel things, and they are the shorter two of the Allens that you have. There's a big one, do not use this one yet. And then these essentially will go and then on this bracket, you have these two little collared pieces. One's a lot skinnier than the other one. The fatter side one goes on the outside of that rivet that we put in there with the flathead, and the other side goes on the back side towards the wheel. And this will kind of just rest over this, slide down over it, just for right now. And then after, we will go ahead and snug it. But with this, you take this little rivet, stick your long bolt through it, and essentially what happens is it goes through the bottom of it. So the back, the underside, goes back through this, and then you have this massive nut, and that goes on the back of this. The washer itself is that plastic piece. You take your Yoshimura spring and you essentially just pull it. Essentially. With their provided spring puller, I have one sitting over there, but I'm just way too fucking lazy right now to get that. So, there you go, looking all pretty. All pretty. And then the last thing, so I think they said that you actually reuse this hardware bolt for this mount. So right after you get done installing, torquing everything down, make sure you clean the crap out of this with rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol, whatever you want to do. You don't want your fingerprints on this, you don't want any type of foreign materials on it. And then, yeah, let's do the sound test. choke either. Holy crap.
Old bitches getting knocked out, niggas catching clips like movies. Old bitch try to pop off, little bitch, you can't fool me. Red rags look like hot